Okay, good morning, everybody. This is the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting at the Mitchell County Courthouse. It is Tuesday, October 19th, 2021. We have an agenda before us. Do we have any questions?
Make a motion to approve agenda.
Mark has made a motion to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Todd has seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Moving on down, approve the minutes of October 12th meeting. Is there any additions or corrections to October 12th's board minutes? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Jim has made a motion.
I'll second.
Mike has seconded. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Moving on, county attorney, general discussion. Mark, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything for us?
Two things. We have that resolution that we need to approve on borrowing that money. You had previously approved it, but then Adam was able to get a lower interest rate. So we just need to have a motion to approve that resolution.
Okay. So why don't we do that right now? This would be Resolution 1108-21. And this resolution is authorizing Mitchell County to borrow $160,000 from St. Ansgar State Bank at 2.25% fixed annual interest rate for 15 years with a 15-year amortization.
$150,500.
$160,500. Do you want me to read the whole thing? If not, this is basically a simple, all this is to modify and change the name of the lender and interest rate. So it's basically the same as what we previously did at 1107-21, except now this is going to be a different lender and a different rate. So do we have any motions to that effect?
Move to approve 1108-21 resolution.
Jim has made a motion.
And I'll second that.
Mike has second. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Mark,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Steve,
All right,
Jim,
Aye.
Todd.
so
Aye.
that resolution has been approved and passed. Moving on, Mark.
Russ kept Mark lawsuit. I've got some things I want to discuss about that and explain to you. Basically, we got the tax lien against Gephardt property, which we figured there was no use actually bringing a lawsuit against him for the tax damages because, how would you collect from that?
Yeah.
So what we did is just been sitting there. So now, as you all know, Russ Gephardt has sued the county saying that he had all kinds of valuable property out there, and the county cleaned it up in 2019. We took all his valuable property. But what I'd like to talk about is I've been visiting with Carlton Salmon, who is the attorney for our insurance company. And I said, Carl, why don't we just bring a countersuit against Gephardt for those back taxes, which I believe we could do. And Carl did say we could do, but now he also has the opinion that we can. But he said, before I can do that as the insurance agent, I need a motion by the Board of Supervisors to bring a countersuit against Gephardt. answer any questions anybody has about this. I know for more of you, this is the first time you've probably been going through this where the county has actually been sued, so I'll be more than willing to answer any questions that you might have about it.
Do you think his lawsuit holds any water, or is it?
No, there's numerous reasons why both Carl and I don't think he's got a cause of action. Number one is, we took pictures, filmed everything. There was nothing out there of any value. Believe me.
Yeah.
Jason Palmer was out there, and I don't know if you guys know Jason or not, but if there was anything of any value, just including metal, Jason would have taken it. There was nothing out there of any value. Number two, there's an issue of whether you missed the statute of limitations. There's a 2-year statute of limitations on that. There's at least an issue whether you missed that or not. But thirdly, and supervisors have probably never heard this analysis before, you've got two types of functions. One is mandatory and one is discretionary. When you've got discretionary that is, for example, here's the perfect example. Should we put a road sign up? That's a discretionary function. You got immunity. When you make a discretionary function, the state has said supervisors can't be sued on discretionary functions. They just can't, not that you can't win or can't lose, you can't even sue them. But then there's mandatory. Once that sign is up, you have a duty to maintain that sign. So there's discretionary functions, there's mandatory functions. Mandatory, you don't have immunity. Another perfect example is, when are we going to go out and plow the roads and salt them? That's discretionary, so you can't be sued on that. And it's the same way, at least Carl and I think, with this decision to clean that property up. That was a discretionary function. You didn't have to do it. You made the decision to do it. And in that case, you got immunity. So both Carl and I think you've got immunity in this situation. That's both of our opinions on that.
With the resolution that you're proposing, if I heard it right, are we approving the insurance company to file a countersuit, or how did you word that?
Yeah, what happens is Russ has sued the county. Now, the county can come back and say, okay, Russ, we deny all your claims, and we're gonna file a countersuit against you for the cost that we incurred in cleaning up that property.
The county is filing the countersuit, or the insurance company is?
The county would be the named party, but the insurance company would actually be filing it for the county. So it's the county filing, you know what I'm trying to say. The
Okay.
attorney that's representing the insurance company would file a counterclaim on behalf of the county.
Okay.
Would there be a lot of expense incurred in this process?
No, it's, this is insured, so,
Okay.
there shouldn't be any cost to the county.
Okay.
It's somewhat, you hear this all the time, you've got the insurance company which is just defending you, but if they've got a viable counterclaim, they'll bring that at the same time, primarily for two reasons. One, they're hoping if they file a countersuit, they can get the main one to go away, and two, they feel like they've almost got a general obligation, if they're truly representing the county or the client, to pursue all their legal remedies, and that would be one of them, countersuit.
Yep. Makes sense.
Okay.
So meanwhile, what we've already done with this, the time continues, right? It doesn't stop like this property going on a tax sale, that just continues on?
Yeah, that does not stop. That does not stop or delay that tax.
Okay.
Well, I think we've we've got on our information on here and that it sounds like it's a no-brainer. Do we have any motions to allow the insurance company to file a countersuit against Russ Kephart?
I would move to make that motion.
Todd has moved.
I'll second.
Mark has second. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Steve,
All right.
Mike,
Aye.
Jim.
Aye. I
So-
still, go ahead.
That motion has passed. Jim, do you have something?
I still have a question for the attorney. So I drove by that place a couple times this last week, and we all know it's a huge mess. And I got to thinking, we've indicated that it doesn't do any good for the sheriff to write citations, and it might be a waste of time. But another way to think of that is, I just don't like sitting by and just doing nothing. I mean, we're doing something here, and if there's somebody that's violating something, he should be getting a ticket. And I guess I wouldn't mind if citations were written if he's doing something wrong, because the whole thing is a mess, and I, with everybody else, are sick and tired of it. Any thoughts from the sheriff or the attorney?
My thought would be
I
until we get a ruling.
agree with you 100%, and we've had this discussion with the previous board and somewhat with this board is, which you can go up there and clean it up again, but this time it's probably gonna cost $25,000 to $30,000. You're gonna get sued again. We could start, as far as I'm concerned, we could start issuing citations for every single day. I'm fine with that.
But again, wouldn't that be fruitless
The
if,
question is up to you. How much money do you guys want to spend realizing you're pouring money into a bottomless pit? Because the day you clean it up, it's going to be filled up again, and now you got another $20,000 or $30,000 into it. That's your decision. If you want to do that, that's fine.
I'm not advocating cleaning it up. I'm just write a ticket if something's not going right, but I don't want to waste your time either. I don't want that happening.
Well, I think eventually what's going to happen is we start writing tickets, and he starts getting found guilty and fined and is not paying his fine. I imagine the magistrate eventually is going to say, okay, enough's enough, I'm going to start throwing you in jail.
I was kind of thinking that. I mean, there might be a way to actually stop the process of collecting stuff.
There hasn't been a ruling yet on the last tickets, have there?
No, there's, I think 15 counts pending, or some are pending, haven't been filed because we're waiting on a ruling, so we all are in agreement that he's violating the law. Courts can't seem to decide if he is. I'll write the tickets if that's what the board wants. But until we get a ruling on the initial ones, and then if it goes in Russ's favor, I would assume there'll be an appeal. It won't be the final ruling, so I can get with Mark, or I'll do what the board wants me to do. I think we're dealing with something more than just gathering junk. Probably some mental health issues,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna change those.
Agreed.
But I'll do whatever the board thinks is best, and we'll move forward.
It's just a frustrating thing, because
Yeah.
I think of the people that are living next to that, and the rodents, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and maybe not a daily ticket, but maybe bi-weekly, monthly or something, just to let them know we haven't forgotten, or whatever. I don't know. That's a good.
again, the end result will still be the same, though,
Yeah.
correct, Sheriff?
Yeah.
So that's my take on it, until we get a ruling from the courts.
Why does it take the court so long to make a ruling?
Good question.
They can't be on vacation that long, can they?
I think when Russ's attorney filed the brief in Russ's favor, he muddied the waters so much, it's difficult for a magistrate to sort through it all. Not impossible, but difficult.
There's no way to put pressure on them either, I suppose.
Not on the try it and they'll make it longer.
So there is no timeline.
Direct that one to Mark. I don't know if there is on
Is there a timeline on that magistrate ruling then?
Yes and no. There's, the judicial branch has guidelines. In other words, you're supposed to rule, this quick, this quick, this quick. I would say that the time for him to, under the guidelines, to have ruled is passed. And what does that mean? It means that, the clerk, they do their quarterly reports, they report, he had this many cases where they were ruled on, but I don't know that for sure. I don't know if the time has passed or not. I don't wanna say that they have, but, so there's really nothing we can do, there's nothing I can do, there's nothing the board can do to make a judge hurry up on their ruling.
Mark, I have a question for you, and it may be way too early, but, so if we countersued, or which we have agreed on, and I think it's a way to go, but could we end up in perhaps a jury trial, and could this get drug on and then start costing money?
Well, when Kephart filed his case, he demanded a jury trial. So unless we get the case dismissed on, statute of limitations or qualified immunity grounds, we're gonna go to a jury trial. And once again, the insurance company, that's why you have insurance, to cover something like this. So.
Okay.
It should not cost, sure, there's gonna be maybe some cost, subpoenas, witnesses, stuff like that, but not on attorneys. Once, the insurance company's in, they're defending, and that's why we hire insurance companies.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
Well, I'll just go with what the attorney and the sheriff said. There's been no ruling on what's happened already, so I can relax.
One other thing this is just truly a coincidence. The day before we were served with that lawsuit, I had just sent a letter to his attorney and to the DNR saying, please go out there and see his attorney, see if you can get him to clean it up, and to the DNR, then he's got appliances out there, and also, I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but Hardee's is tearing down a portion of their building which housed the old cooler. He's there loading up everything out of the dumpster as fast as they put it in.
I don't see any more room out there. I don't know where you can put anything.
Have you heard anything from the DNR?
I have not. Sent that letter last Tuesday.
Okay.
Steve? Chris?
Has the county sanitarian or public health been involved in this matter at all? To deem it a health issue for the residents there in New Haven?
I do not believe that she has. We never requested her to go there.
If there's something in Iowa code that would make things stick a little better to back your case?
I guess we can check with her and see if she can come up with something. But,
Because if it becomes a public health matter with rodents and everything else with the neighbors and stuff.
again, with the rodents, you can't prove where they come from. They live out there in the country, they've got a swamp across the road. Can you prove where that animal come from? You know, I looked out the window last night at 10 minutes before dark, and I had a 6-point buck standing in the driveway. You know, it's in my yard. It come from somewhere.
Same token, everybody knows that this.
You know, you can blame Russ Kephardt's mess for it, but yet there's other sheds and buildings in New Haven that are animal traps or houses too, so.
Is it still there? Is it still there? Your buck?
No, it's walked off.
Oh, on its own?
Sure did.
One's hanging in the shed though.
Oh, you got one hanging?
Anyways, but we can check with our sanitarian and see if she can come up with something. And we can go from there, but I'm gonna say it's probably proceed as what we're doing.
Okay. Just frustrating that,
Yep, yeah.
want to do something, but, okay.
Do you move the stuff from that utility pole?
Yes, they're going to move that material. Sheriff?
Well, yeah, I did make contact with Russ, and he said he would. Now, we'll see if he keeps his word. Asked him, give us at least 10 feet all the way around the utilities pipe there. He said he would, however, I checked it the following day, it hadn't been moved yet. And so I guess in the event that they need to do maintenance or there's an outage or something,
Yeah.
I'll direct Lange Energy to move what they have to move so that they can restore service. But we'll see, maybe he'll get it moved.
All right. Is there anything else for county attorney? If not, thank you, Mark. Moving on down, approve the sheriff's report for September.
Good morning once again. I have September fees for you, $15,373.56.
All right, well, we could approve that. Do we have any motions to approve the sheriff's report of $15,373.56?
Move to approve the sheriff's report.
Jim has made a motion and Mike has seconded.
I'll second that, yes.
Any further discussion?
Roll call, Jim,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
All right, we've approved the sheriff's report. And Sheriff, do you have anything else for us?
Two items quickly, like everywhere else. It's tough to kind of get supplies for the jail. So through Martin Brothers, they do have some of the things that we routinely use, some of the things they don't have, so we're substituting. And they can do with what we can buy here in Osage and get our inmates fed. It's not at a critical level by any means, but just a heads up that some of that, that we typically buy in bulk, we're not able to do that any longer, so it costs a little more. But when things are restored, we'll be right back there fulfilling our stuff through Mark Brothers. Secondly, a deputy hit a deer the other night, so you'll see that on the insurance claim, and then deductible bill that I'll need to pay to get that taken care of. Haven't hit one in a while, knock on wood, but tis the season. Yes, so it's a pricey new business. Yes. We drive a lot of miles and we don't get too many, but once in a while we do, so. We'll get some estimates of damage on that. Hopefully they can get parts in. It's drivable, the road's knocked out of it. And the bumper covers smashed, I guess, or broken, so those two items I know have to be replaced. But it's drivable, he's using it, continues to try to get scheduled repairs. So that's really all I have, unless you guys have things for me. People complaining.
Do you have a backup vehicle for stuff
We
like
do,
this? You do,
yeah, it's a reserve truck, so
Okay.
if one would go down,
Yep.
because of a crash or impact or something,
I
yeah.
figured probably did, I just wondered.
Yep, and then there's been times where guys just jump in and somebody else's, we're able to use that on their shift.
Yeah, there should be later off duty, yeah.
Yep, so, that's all I have for you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
You're welcome.
Moving on down, department head discussion. Anybody online, department heads?
Steve, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna throw fill this out. Rachel gave me this morning, the report from our
Yep.
security man that's here.
Yep.
We want to take some time, not this morning, obviously, but over the next week or 10 days, and review and get together with department heads and discuss this, or what do you guys think in moving forward? What do you think, Rachel? You got a thought or not?
Can go with number 10, appoint security. I mean, I'm okay with giving this to everyone and then just kind of go through and see what we want to do right away, if anything.
Well, we should probably do something with it if we,
Yeah.
you know, put the time to
Yeah.
have them come and review our courthouse and our layout, so. Just throwing that out for thoughts, and we can revisit that in a week and maybe set a date before or something, whatever you guys think. Be happy to do that.
Yeah, that's, we'll appoint that committee, and of course, your name is going to be on that committee too, Sheriff, so. But anyways, we'll discuss that when we get to number 10, but
Sure.
hopefully.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that on there, so.
It's all right. It's all right.
Good to be,
Thank you.
good to be proactive.
Well, I should pay attention to that.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. County Engineer,
Morning.
good morning.
Since you guys are, I just delivered you the professional services agreement for WHKS to review the bridge south of Osage here. If you recall, that bridge got posted for load based on special haul vehicles this last go-round, and so I think it was discussed between us that we wanted to look at other options for trying to strengthen that bridge to kind of remove some postings. So this is the contract they've come up with to evaluate what we need to do there. It's not any design stuff, but just an evaluation to tell us what they think we need to do. So briefly, it includes site visits. Feasibility study will include the summary of existing conditions, the recommendations of bridge strengthening, dead load reduction, replacement, and staged construction, and then an engineer's opinion of probable costs. So basically, they're going to come look at the bridge, come up with some ideas on how they can strengthen that bridge to allow for those heavier special haul vehicles back on that bridge without having it posted one lane. I think that bridge was widened probably almost about 3. Okay.
It says 2002 here, but.
Okay. So,
Okay.
we're looking at quite a while ago that it was widened, and it's still got some good life to it yet, but when these bridges were designed, they were designed under a different design standard, and now everything else is a higher standard, and with different axles under trucks now. We just can't design for everything and foresee what's coming up the road next, for no pun intended, but what's coming up the road for axle configurations and weight loads again. So, anyway, if we want to get going on this, I'd recommend that we get the contract signed so we can get them going on it.
So this bridge was constructed originally in 52.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, how long do bridges last? Like,
Depends on how well you take care of them. I mean, we've got 100-year-old bridges that are in tough shape, but
yeah.
we've, almost 20 years ago, we kind of rebuilt it where we
Yep.
widened it, painted the beams and everything else. So, I mean, there's good life left in it. It's not the widest bridge in the county, but it's not extremely narrow either. I mean, they widened it. There's you paint it, you protect the steel and everything else, and I don't think the bridge report really had anything to be concerned about.
Okay.
I don't know if there's another 30 years left in it or not. It's hard to say.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that old original bridge, that used to be exciting to meet 2 trucks on it at the same, 2 large trucks at the same time on it. Your mirrors weren't very far apart. Jim remembers that.
Before it got widened, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And occasionally they did tap. It was more exciting to come down the hill with a dump truck that had poor brakes and see a combine in the middle of it.
Well, if you remember too, on that widening, on most of those bridges, those outer beams didn't take all the load on the original design, so they were a smaller dimensional
Yep.
beam. And when they widened it, they added another beam, so now this outer beam is now an interior beam and doesn't take the same load as the other interior beams. That's why it was great for a long time, but now that we've got different axle configurations and requirements by the federal government to rate for special haul vehicles, now these beams are what's causing the problem. So there's ways to strengthen the beams. Yeah, they can do post-tension type thing, or they can add structure to the beams, thicken the cross sections to allow more load, but there's prices and costs involved with that, so it'll give us an idea of what we can do.
Okay.
I'm gonna interrupt it tonight.
Okay, 9 o'clock, excuse me, yes. Sorry, Rich, we're gonna move over to public hearing to amend for year 21/22 county budget. All right, it's 9 o'clock. We're gonna open the public hearing time. That's actually 9:01 probably. Are there any oral or written comments? Supervisors? Nope. Auditor, did you have any?
I just had a comment about the amount, and that amount is just all the ARPA expenses that we have approved. And it's large because we did put in the higher end for the HVAC for the sheriff's office. So
Okay.
we can amend that down later if it doesn't.
Correct.
That's the non-departmental department
Correct.
number?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Is there anything else, any discussion? We'll close the public hearing. And I guess that would be 9:04 probably, Rachel? 9:03? So, any comments from the board? We probably want to approve this appropriations resolution of 1109-21. Whereas it is desired to make appropriations for the various departments as per budget amendment at this time, therefore it be resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Mitchell County, Iowa, that these changes be made in appropriations. The expenditures, increase of $53,500 to the Auditor Department, increase of $12,600 to the Attorney Department, increase of $5,000 to the Medical Examiner's Department, and an increase of $918,334 to the non-departmental department. So, do we have any motions to that effect?
Make a motion to approve resolution 1109-21.
Mark has made a motion.
I will second that.
Mike has seconded. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Mark,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Steve.
Aye. So, we have approved the appropriations resolution 1109-21. Thank you. Moving back to county engineer. And I guess what we're, is there any further discussion on this agreement with WHKS? And if none, are we going to make motions to approve this agreement for $7,900 for WHKS to do the services on this, for those required for this bridge?
I just thought of this, I probably need to abstain from approving. Not that I don't like these people, but probably have to bow out from this, so.
Yep, I understand.
My boy works for them, so that's why I gotta do that.
Yep. So,
I'll move to approve doing a study on the bridge out
Mike
there.
has moved to approve.
I'll second.
Todd has seconded. Any further discussion?
I have I'm new at this, so, it bill hourly not to exceed $7,900. Are these, local people? Like, I guess where I'm going with the question is there, we've got them here, gonna inspect this bridge and look at, is there any other bridges they could do in our county that we could, double up on, or any?
They've been doing our bridge inspections for I don't know how many years, so they're familiar with it. They will have, we might be able to ask them while they're here to inspect the bridge. I mean, our bridge inspection is coming up this winter. They may not have to spend much time on the bridge inspection for that particular bridge come this winter if they're already coming to look at it again for this, so.
My thought going is, and I've talked to you about this before, that Stillwater
Yeah,
Bridge has
yeah.
kind of been something we've been looking at. Do we need any inspection, or do you know what's going on there?
Well, that bridge in particular, I mean, this is one that we've kind of prioritized right now. The Stillwater one, are you talking the one on the curve? Or
Yeah.
The one, yeah. To go, that is another one I think that we will have another contract for. They haven't put anything together for it yet, because right now, while it's narrow, it's not particularly, I don't want to say that, in as big a need right now, but.
Okay.
They're out of Mason City, so they're not coming very far to come look
Okay.
at this kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was something we could, as long as they were here, but if that's where they're
Yeah, I don't
from.
think that would change much. They'd still have to
Okay.
travel. It's, it's time consuming to go inspect a bridge most of the time anyway, so, I mean, especially when they're gonna try to do this in depth of the bridge on that long of a bridge.
Yeah.
It'll take them some time. I mean, they'll review the files and everything they have on it already, but they'll probably take some more in-depth measurements on flange thicknesses and things like that to get a better understanding of what the members actually have for dimensions, so they can decide what they need to do. But I understand your concern, but I don't think it's gonna matter too much. And
Okay.
right now, our bridge inspection's gonna come up December, so we'll look at everything again anyway. But maybe this one will be a little bit smaller. And it's not to exceed, so we'll know what they'll come up with for a total cost when it's done. But
Okay, thank you.
All right, I guess we've had two.
Roll call. Todd?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Steve?
Right.
Let me sign this one.
Okay, I already signed this one. They're the
Oh,
same,
that's
ain't
fine.
they?
Yep, that's fine.
So, anyways, we've approved the contract for WHKS feasibility study on bridge on T-38 for $7,900.
Not to exceed, so. Updates, Hinkle is decking the bridge over by Bailey. I think they were gonna try to put steel up this week, but I think they've pushed that back to now the steel crew's coming in next week. So they'll start placing steel on the deck. I don't know how long it'll take, another week to place steel, probably another week or so before they even think about pouring, so. They've been waiting on subcontractor to come and backfill some things too. They've been probably doing more than they should on backfilling for their subcontractor, but their subcontractor's way behind on backfilling, because I know he's on 2 other of my jobs that hasn't showed up for yet, so they're pretty busy.
Who's the sub?
Lodge.
Okay.
They're stretched pretty thin. So, the Balsam Bridge, I sent out a winds this morning, got confirmation. I wanted to verify before I send a winds out that they'll close that tomorrow after 9 o'clock. so the buses can still run the routes in the morning, but to get that, closed off, I've been told they're gonna bring 2 bridge crews in to try to expedite the construction, so hopefully it goes faster than my Worth County Bridge, which is still closed, so. One of the crews that's coming is coming from there, so they're pretty much done with it, but they're waiting on a subcontractor over there to backfill it, so, hopefully they get this expedited. I don't know how long it'll take yet, but, then our crews are out blading, and we got some concrete patching we're gonna do. We were trying to patch on 420 before the bridge closure, but it kinda came up on us quicker, so they're gonna try to do some there yet, today and tomorrow, but once we get it patched, we'll detour traffic on that, so. Be a little congested on Wednesday, but it's gonna be raining, so who knows what we'll get done before then, so.
Blading through dust controls, October 1st.
We kinda hold off depending on how bad it is. I think now, depending where we're at, if they're not too bad, we try to hold off as long as we can. I know that our practice has always been October 1st, but that's the deadline we put on ourselves, but it's so dry out there right now.
Yeah, pretty dry.
Unless they're bad, we'll leave them alone until we get closer to winter time.
I had a couple complaints on being rough.
Are they?
2 different spots. So.
Okay, well, if you wanna text me then, we can blade through them, I mean, we have we can do that. But we try, if they're in good shape, we try to maybe hold off as long as we can. One thing I don't wanna do is hold off, then we get snow, and then they come back in the spring and say, well, we just had dust control put on, and that's not true, so. But if they're in good shape, we'll try to keep them out there as long as we can until harvest is done. So, but they'll text me the locations and
Because the landowner's supposed to take care of the roughness, correct?
yeah, the way the ordinance or the resolution or whatever, our practice is, we'll blade through it if we see it's bad unless they take care of it.
Okay.
And if they're not taking care of it, we'll blade through it.
Okay.
But we try to avoid that as much as we can. You
Yeah.
know, it's expensive to put down, but if they're not maintaining it and it gets pretty rough, then we've gotta do something too.
Yeah,
Yep,
some
that's-
people do, and some,
Sometimes you don't have to, but.
yeah.
And depending on how bad they are, if it's smaller potholes, we kind of leave them alone, but they're getting pretty big, we need to cut them out. And the residual dust control still does work, you know, you can blade through it and there's still residual, and once you get a little moisture, it'll still work, not as good as it was when it was new, but it still helps, so.
Any more applicants on the secondary road?
No, I'm gonna interview 2 people today, but we have been just lacking in doing any applications. Same thing in Worth County, same thing in Howard County. I mean, we just can't find anybody to apply. So, we'll be looking at probably training some people. We need bodies to plow snow. So, and that's not all that bad either. I mean, train them.
But like this one, where would this one be located out of?
Probably be out of Osage.
Out of Osage?
Well, yeah, we try to hire people in a location where we think they're gonna be, but sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I think Osage is probably where we're gonna need them for now.
That'd be their home base.
It's always nice to hire experience, but it's always also nice if somebody's teachable, to give somebody a chance.
Right, they don't come in with bad habits. Yep.
And give them some
You just never
opportunity to
know.
do something.
You just never know. They might take to it like that.
Right.
What is the starting wage for?
Now you had to ask, I can't remember. It's 90% of their base, so we're looking at, what do we at? It'd probably be a little over $22 an hour at 90%, so then as they go, that's the 90% below base, I think is what it is. I think our base is at 24 or something.
Okay.
Which, God, isn't that a decent wage around here? I don't know, maybe I'm out of touch, but.
Maybe I can send somebody your way, I don't know. Maybe.
So,
Howard County just hired one over there. I think their base wage is right in what you're
yeah, we're not
discussing.
much different. Just, I don't know what people are doing out there, but we're not finding anybody to work.
That's odd.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, contractors can't find people to come to work, which is probably why some of these guys are behind schedule. They just can't find enough bodies. So I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
If you want a job, they're out there.
Times are changing.
Different. I always needed money to pay my bills. I don't know how people,
Yeah,
it's like, I don't get it.
I don't either.
All right, is there any other questions for Rich?
I'll be gone Thursday and Friday, so,
Have fun.
yeah, it'll be cold.
Fishing?
Motorcycle ride to Lincoln.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
We'll see. I got the gear, so I'm not too worried about it. It's everybody else that's going with.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Moving on. Number 9, discussion and action on insulating in Lange County maintenance building. So, Mike, do you know a little more about this?
Yeah, I could talk about this, I guess. Finally got 2 bids, hard to get everybody's so busy, can't get help, just like Rich said, but we did get 2 bids. One's for $29,750 from Triple E and one for $29,988.93 from Ted May Construction. The Ted May one has a R60 in the ceiling, which the other had an R50, so it's a better insulation. You know, heat rises, insulation, or heat goes out the roof, so. Anyway, and the insulation in the sidewalls, Ted May also has a 3 to 3.5 2-pound closed cell, so it's gonna be a spray foam. And the chutes will be spray foamed in, the ventilation chutes, which is a good deal. And the other guy's putting 1-inch spray foam plus R19 blankets, which, I don't know, that's, when you're mixing insulation, it's not always a good deal. You can get mold between the 2 layers, so. And Ted May is a local contractor. The material will come from Mitchell County, where Triple E's out of Spring Valley, so, and Triple E's the original builder of the shed. So, I don't know, I would suggest staying local and for a couple $100 more and better insulation and.
Yeah, it's basically a little over a couple of $100 more.
238 or whatever, 93, which you make, the insulation alone is more than that, so.
Is there any other discussion on this?
I would just as soon see the spray foam. I don't like that gap between the foam and the bat, which things settle. I mean, it's just, I personally, for a couple $100, I thought the foam and the insulation R60 on the ceiling was probably the best.
I agree. Any other discussion?
Nope, I'll make a motion to go with Ted May for the installation.
Art has made a motion.
Second.
Jim has seconded. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye?
Mark,
Aye?
Jim,
Aye.
Mike.
So, this has been approved for Ted May Construction.
Just out of curiosity, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but he can do it yet this fall?
Yes, probably around first part of December,
Okay.
give or take a week. Got to order material,
Yep.
you know, depending on when that comes, and they're gonna be done with their vaccination clinic on the 27th, which is next week, so we gotta wait after that anyway, you know, so.
Okay, good.
We never get, so I checked with them to see, make sure what would work for them too, so.
That. Thank you.
Okay. Ted May Construction for $29,988.93. It's been approved, so. Moving on, appoint security committee. And this has to do with the meeting we had a week ago today. And remind me, his name was Chris Judge. And he gave an assessment of the county courthouse and grounds, including services building and the sheriff's office. Chris, would you like to come on up here and give your thoughts on that? You're our emergency management personnel. David is here, he was at the meeting. Would you like to give a short description of what Chris Judge?
So,
without
Mr.
giving
Judge.
Too much information?
Yeah, Mr. Judge was here and did a vulnerability assessment, physical, and I guess he did some cybersecurity. I just got this now, I haven't mulled over it yet. I think it's something that we all need as a group to decide who's on the public safety team, or the safety committee, however you wanna word it. I did some research, I think we're on the right track of other entities around the country as to how they went about doing this. The first thing they did was form your team, and the next thing is do your assessment. So we kind of put the cart ahead of the horse, but now we need to form a team, so we're on the right track.
And during the meeting, we discussed that having those present at that meeting and an extra supervisor.
So like if the sheriff can't be there, he could designate somebody, a deputy or something. A couple of supervisors, I would guess, would be ideal. Of course, the auditor and maybe whoever if she can't be there, she can appoint somebody to fill in
Paul.
for her. Yeah, Paul would be there. And whoever else you think would be the best fit for this team, so.
So would you include the police department too? Or is just the sheriff and the county people?
And that was part of the
Okay.
assessment, I think would be ideal to have, because they're gonna be the first ones here. If the sheriff was out of town and a deputy was out of town, they're gonna be the first ones to come. So yeah, they need to be on that same page and know our protocol as to what we expect from them, and where we're going and where we're meeting and that kind of thing. We need to get a copy to the
Is that,
police chief.
right, see, you are not, the police department wouldn't be, but they would be, we could include them, is that maybe what I'm looking at? Because, again, here, if something would happen, I'm thinking of today, the sheriff is shorthanded, you
Right.
know, if something was gone, I think we should have some sort of, enforcement here.
Right.
That's just my feelings, and if they come in and know nothing, I guess they're, you know, so maybe just have, at least inform them of what's going on.
And part of me thinks, you know, okay, we're doing the courthouse, but do we need to include, you know, the county shops, a representative from there, so, you know, if they have any concerns, or at least open that door for them to let them voice their concern to is it a county-wide thing where, you know, the public health building, conservation, I mean, we really shouldn't leave anybody out, is what I'm saying.
No.
Period.
We should probably ask for a representative from each building, I would say.
Right,
Mitchell County is not just this building.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was hoping.
Yeah.
Good. So, do we put a representative from those folks, or ask them to be on
I
the
would
team
think
as
it
well?
would be a good idea.
Or do you
Yeah.
have them contact who's on there?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, how far do you want to expand it? You can make it as big as you want, or as small as you need.
Do you have a committee, so let's just talk about the outlying shops. Do you have a committee, and then, and this is maybe what Rachel was getting at, once the committee figures out how we're gonna do things, then have an individual or a couple individuals from that shop come and just talk with them and stuff, rather than, you know, you can have a committee that's way too big too. It's,
Oh, yeah,
you
that's
know,
on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why,
It
would
would
Rich
be-
be the representative?
Yeah.
And speaking for the 4 properties?
Yeah.
So, I think that would be easiest.
So that would put Laura for the services building?
And then Adam Shirley would be the head of the conservation. All right. We got Chris, sheriff, 2 supervisors, Paul John, Dave Hardo, somebody from the police, so that'd probably be the chief?
I don't think you need to have him on here, I think we can just stay in contact. My opinion, have him come in and
Right.
Just have him
really,
in contact.
So he doesn't wanna hear what's going on with the
Yeah.
conservation or St. Ansgar's secondary roads shed.
All right, Rhodes, Rich, Laura, Adam. Are we leaving somebody out?
Look at court.
Yeah,
as much as they want.
Okay.
at least invite them, and, you know, if they wanna partake, that'd be great.
And what are you thinking, monthly, yearly, bi-yearly?
I think quarterly is what.
Quarterly?
He suggested quarterly at the beginning and possibly go by email too,
Right.
after,
After you're established.
yeah.
Or as deemed necessary, you know.
Necessary.
And maybe this would be something that we could do after a board meeting so that these people aren't here after hours. Okay. Well, I was at the meeting, so I'm going to guess I will be one of our supervisors.
Draw straws or arm wrestle? If you just wanna volunteer, that'd be great.
So, do we have another volunteer?
I can do if nobody else wants to.
Mark?
I can do, it doesn't matter.
I'll let you guys fight it out here.
You know, it probably wouldn't hurt maybe to rotate it every year or something.
Good. Yeah,
And that
that
way
wouldn't
you
hurt.
all know
Yeah,
what's
that
going on.
was a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, I would be for that. I mean, and anytime you can't, if something was, you were busy, I would definitely be willing to sit in for you or, and I don't know how that would work if, you know, if we all wanted to come, is that gonna be a
Yeah, that would be an
conflict?
issue.
Could do that.
You were,
So,
2 was fine, but
Yep.
you get a third one in here and then we're kinda pushing the limit.
Isn't it a workshop though, or I don't know, I thought workshops were different.
Well, then it becomes open to, you have to have an open meeting.
I'm not sure with security though if that applies. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That'd be something to look into. We do not need the public to share.
We could ask Mark what his opinion on that would be. I think workshops, I think, are exempt from an open meeting, you know, I don't know, because it would be a workshop.
I guess we
It's
can
a
ask if
workshop.
Mark is accidentally listening. County Attorney, are you still out there? No, there isn't anything that I can't bother him again this Friday morning.
Yeah.
Been kind of camping out
I
there
think
on
the more
Friday
that
mornings.
know, the better, you know?
We're all on the same sheet of music, right?
Yep.
Somebody going to contact clerk of court then? Who would do that?
We'll have to get in contact with them.
Because this building's probably the main threat, correct? Or, well, maybe, not. Who knows? I don't know, but
It's hard to say.
it's hard to say.
The antenna for, what's the, at Stacyville, the antenna, is that for the sheriff's department?
And
That's up-
fire.
So, I mean, if someone wants to knock something out, they could
Right.
go there and do stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've got to start on this anyways. We've got initial group of names here. And, Chris will be no problem, Sheriff will be no problem, the supervisors, Paul said he'd be, Dave's here. I can visit with Rich, I can visit with Laura, I can visit with Adam, and I'll get in touch with clerk of court. go from there. Sound okay?
Sounds real good. Yeah, if you wanna decide on a date and time, Rachel, I suppose you'd be the one that would take notes and on our meetings.
It says
Is
motions.
it possible that I can get more of these to take to,
I can bring them
all right,
on the first meeting.
I'll get them from you here before I leave today then.
Well, to give to the other.
Yeah, because I don't want them to go, oh, what's this? And,
It says motion second, so is that, we do that after we have all these names
So my question was,
confirmed?
at the first meeting of the year, you guys appoint who's going to be on those boards. So since it's a new board, for you guys to have a motion on the two supervisors that will be.
Okay. Yep.
So we'll have a motion for the two supervisors for now.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And just a reminder, this is sensitive material, so we don't want it to get in the wrong hands of the, so.
Again, yeah, this is, that's why Chris didn't say any more about the meeting than needed. This is for us to know, and nobody else. But, do we have any motions for Mark and I to be on this committee for next year?
I'll move to approve Smolik and Hendrickson on the, Security Committee for Mitchell County.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
All right, any further discussion?
Roll call, Mike,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Mark,
All right,
Steve,
Aye?
Todd.
Aye.
All right, so we've got to start on that. We're moving
After
forward.
retirement.
Now, to visit the clerk of court, David, how hard is that?
Wear masks.
Send Stacy, you've got Stacy's email.
Oh, they won't even talk to me, huh?
Just gotta be here to do that.
All right.
You might,
Yeah, no, she's.
I'm gonna try and visit with her. So, thank you. Moving on, discussion and possible action on the environmental health Tahoe. We've got some transmission issues with the Tahoe, and the amount, Osage Towing Repair, their estimate is $4,330.60. And East Side Automotive is, all right, what am I, oh,
There's
$3,799.52. They make it small. For such a large bill, they printed it small.
Just for information, yesterday there were just twos. One of them was, Eastside had a 1-year, 12,000 mile warranty. I asked Amanda to get a competitive quote from, and Osage Towing had a 3-year, 100,000 mile warranty. So I asked her to get a competitive quote from Eastside with a 3-year, 100,000 mile warranty. So that's why there are two from Eastside. That's why.
Okay. One's not as good a warranty.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, probably long-term, so probably should go for the good warranty, I think.
What's Mark think?
yeah, usually if they last a year, they're gonna last longer,
Oh.
but to be competitive, they'd be way to go.
Like 500 more for that extended warranty,
Hmm.
you think?
Sheriff stepped out, huh? He left us.
Do you think the lower East Side price with the 1-year warranty is?
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of that, but
You wouldn't be afraid of it?
no.
Yeah, it's $500. So,
On the other hand, she's probably gonna keep it for a long time.
yeah.
Are they pretty much the same tranny, or?
Yeah, yep,
Well, same transmission, they just give you a better warranty for more money.
yeah.
And more, if it does pull a home health trailer, there's no weight to it, so
No.
I would consider both, they both do very good work. But being a penny pincher, I'm looking at the bottom line, and I think the East Side Auto with just under 3,800 would probably be the way to go.
That's the one with the longer warranty. It's
Yeah.
33 with the,
3,300
3,300 for the 1 year, 12,000.
for the 1-year warranty.
For the 1 year warranty.
He'd go with that, the 1-year tranny, if we asked him to?
That's what this one,
That's-
did you have the one that says
Well,
thanks on it?
hopefully it's the same transmission.
Yeah, but he's got the 33 and the 37.
Yeah,
He'd go with the 33 if we asked him to.
but that, yeah, it's just a difference in the warranty.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's, yeah, on the 1 year, it says 1 year, 12,000 mile, and that's the 3,300, and then he submitted the other one with a 3-year, 100,000 mile.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't know if he'd stick with the lower one if we asked him to, or if you want to go compared with Osage
Oh.
Towing.
Well, this is just a question, and I don't know if you could answer it, Mark. What I was looking at here, to me, the 1 year 12,000 would probably be a rebuilt used, and then maybe the 3-year with that 3-year 100,000, would that be a new one?
I I would say no, but.
You would say no, okay.
Yeah, they're all rebuilt anymore, ain't they?
Right. Yeah, they wouldn't be a factory original. They're new.
The one statistically says rebuilt, and the other one,
Yeah, the other one didn't.
but I would assume that's a 15, so yeah.
Now, there is an exception on here that I just caught on, is that an extra heavy-duty torque converter is offered for an extra $200 on the $3,800. That's at our option though, but I doubt that we would need that because you're not pulling too much heavy with that. If in the event that does need to be used by home health. Any other thoughts?
Well,
So-
yeah, it's not gonna be under heavy duty, so, or, heavy usage, so.
Well, again, the unit, the Tahoe, if it would be used for pulling heavy duty, it would have been ordered with heavy duty, it would have had extra cooling lines and, the cooler. So it probably doesn't have all that stuff on it now. I'm not gonna say that it don't.
Well, it has a cooler, because it says cooler flush, so I'm sure it does it.
Going in the radiator, yeah. Through the radiator.
I
The
do.
extra heavy duty would be different.
External.
And I do see on Osage Towing, and he has the 3-year 100,000, it says one rebuilt transmission, so.
Correct. Yep.
So chances are they're both
Yeah,
rebuilds,
as
not.
long as Osage doesn't come back and say we didn't, but then you went and talked to him about bid?
No, I just asked Richard, or asked Amanda to get a
Amanda went out there.
comparable bid with the
And
3-year.
apparently that is the bid that they gave, Osage Towing.
I just don't wanna create any problems with apples to apples, I guess it would be. I wouldn't be afraid with the lower one from East Side.
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Mark has made a motion for the lower 1-year warranty. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
All right, Mike has seconded. Further discussion?
Roll call, Jim.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Mark.
Right?
Todd.
Aye.
We'll let Amanda know that she can visit East Side Automotive and
It's drivable, they can get it out there.
Yeah. think so.
It's,
You said-
it
Yeah, they
kicks
came
in and
together.
out a little bit higher RPM, it works to get out there, so.
So it needs to warm up before it actually starts to shift decent, so.
Oh,
I think a little, was it sawdust goes in there and it'll make it work better?
probably already in there.
Well, hope
The
not.
sheriff got us good.
All right,
Remember that next time.
yeah.
Where's he at?
Moving on. Items of note, meetings attended.
I just wanted to follow up on last week's meeting, just real briefly, Midwest Engineering, to add to the Zoom meeting. The question came up as far as if they're comfortable with the price range that they initially quoted us. And he is, and he just wants to he wanted to remind us that things are a lot different now in regards to people aren't working, contractors are busy, and people aren't working in regards to parts being delivered too, so it's just a different atmosphere, and so that's why he's still nervous as far as to actually narrow that down to a certain point. And as we get in this further, he'll be able to do that, but he's still a little nervous about that. And he is still planning on being here this next week to answer any questions you guys have, but he might not have that answer. That's why I wanted to bring that up if the question comes up.
What do you say, maybe, we could probably have it before the end of the year, right? I think kinda.
Yeah, I think.
I think it's kinda what he indicated.
Yep, as soon as he gets the design and, and
Gets
he'll have a little better estimate, but you'll never know until
somebody bids.
they actually bid it. And, the city, I think I said that last week, the city had that problem with the splash pad that they wanted to do. The bids came in a lot more than what they anticipated, and so you never know until actually it's down on paper and you see it.
Yep.
I just wanted to say that.
So he's coming.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm done.
Oh, you're done?
Yep.
Oh, I had a conservation board meeting, they're gonna be logging the woods between the bridge and the conservation out here. There's 140 walnut trees that somebody's logging out of there. They're gonna replace a lawnmower, grasshopper for next spring. They got one that's about wore out. They're waiting on the Otranto Dam yet for removal of that. I don't know, it's kinda waiting on. The wetland out there is on course, so they're looking into repairs for the dam, for the hydroelectric. Sounds like maybe a helicopter to lift that off and put it back on is kind of the cheapest route maybe to go. So they're working on that also.
Mike, so they're fixing it, or did they have?
Yes. Well, they gotta take the I-beams and the gearbox, and that has to come off. Has to get rebuilt, whatever, new I-beams, the gearbox needs rebuilt or replaced with something comparable to it. And they have somebody that's probably can build one,
Okay,
so, and I can say, cause they don't know for sure, but somebody says they can probably build it for not that much money, like maybe 25 to 50,000 instead of their big number, and it sounded like the insurance company was gonna probably work with them on it,
okay, good.
so.
Good.
They was kinda, so,
Yeah,
they're
that's
hoping
it,
that
'cause I've had
all
some
works.
calls on who is responsible for that, and, I mean,
Oh.
it's above me, so,
Yeah,
but the pictures that I've seen, it's like, the way that iron is bent,
Yeah.
but as long as, I'm glad they can repair it and get it back.
kinda looked into the barge thing too, I guess, to go in the water to come up to it, but then the dam needs an engineering study or something cause they'd have to anchor off of that. So they have to make sure it holds, and it's like 40,000 to do that, so it's, and to build a road was down there, was gonna be a lot more, 100 and whatever, so.
Yes,
So I
the
thought
railroad
helicopters,
in New Hampton, how much that cost.
probably the way to go, so
Yeah.
it's in work in
Yep.
progress, so.
You bet, absolutely,
And
good.
working with the insurance company to.
Did you say the timetable that they're looking at as far as, or
They
this
have no
winter,
idea
or?
yet.
Okay.
Well, I think the guy that's gonna rebuild it is a local, so
Good.
I'm probably a winter project for him, and I don't know. We gotta get the helicopter narrowed down and in the insurance, you know.
They're gonna open up the dam to let some
They
water out.
won't have to if they do it this way.
Okay,
No, that's the way it sounded, they won't have to.
okay.
'Cause everything's up on top that needs fixed, so.
Be nice to be able to open that up
They
if needed
can't
in the
open that
spring.
gate, they cannot open that gate with
The way it's
with the way it
currently
is now, it's
Yeah.
broke, you know? They can open one, but not the other one, so.
And in the spring, it might need to be open, you
Well,
know.
they hope to have it by then, but, you know, nothing's
That's
guaranteed,
right,
as we know,
Yep.
so.
Okay.
So that's kind of where all that's at. You know, Trammell Dam, they're still waiting on the, something in the government to okay it or approve it, or, you know, it's paperwork stuff, I guess.
Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, there you go,
Okay,
yeah. And the wetland project's on course, so
okay. That's your meetings then?
that's my meeting, yep.
Thank you.
Okay, well, on October 12th, I had a Floyd Mitchell landfill, Chickasaw landfill meeting. We discussed the financial report. Thing is in good shape. It was approved. Discussion and decision on repair of heating and air conditioning system for the scale building. That was discussed and approved. Discussion on annual employee wage increase. That was approved. Discussion on and decision on link belt bucket and teeth. It was decided that they're gonna get new teeth and adapters at a cost of $13.28. That was approved. Local's gonna fix it. Discussion and decision on working with conservation for battery recycling. Haven't heard, we've had a couple fires out at the landfill. That's the lithium batteries catching the landfill on fire after hours. Anyways.
Once they get buried, you mean?
Yeah, they're buried in there, and they, heat get hot, and they start a fire. And
Oh.
that's something else to get landfill fire out.
But there's a lot of them going in the trash, ain't there?
Yeah, well, they're gonna try and stop that. What they're gonna do is, county conservations from all local counties will get a pail that could recycle non-acid batteries, and the buckets are only $150 a pail. And may get them for city halls down the future. Anyways, they moved to approve 3 pails for the conservations for the 3 counties, and that's a start. And we
Yeah.
may go, you know, like say, add more buckets. We discussed the holiday schedule for 2022, and we had a director's report. Then on October 13th, I had a Region 2 RPA Policy Board meeting. Reviewed and approved minutes, previous minutes, and discussed for year 2021 through for year 2040 long-range transportation plan. And, that was passed. We had other discussion topics, the Iowa DOT, and we had federal update information from a quarterly meeting. We had district planner update, and then we had people that were at the meeting have cities. They discussed all the activities that's been going on in their county, or cities, for road work and any businesses starting up. And then they had a county update, and each county that's part of this policy board give a discussion as to what's been going on in the roads, any new things going on in businesses in the county. And then at the tail end, we had our discussion on our next meeting dates. Anyways, then on October 14th, I had a wellness meeting. It was discussed that we have $4,500 in money available. We've spent $420 for $10 gift certificates for Waterworks. plan for 2021. 1% discount per point. Our assessments, 62 are done. Physicals, 45 are done per last report. 11 more that they know of that will be coming in. And then they discussed incentive for completing both assessment and physical. And also was asked, do we think we could or should ask for, through the American Rescue Plan Act, any monies? And that was a no. Anyways, it was also discussed the end of the year party will be December 9th at 2 o'clock. And I'm going to assume it's going to be in here, right? I guess I don't know. I guess I don't remember what we discussed on that. Anyways, that was my meetings. Mark.
At a Heartland Insurance meeting, they had 2 administrators. They offered a job to one of them, see if she accepts it or not. And still doing the storm claims last year from that Dre show. That was quite expensive down in Tama. And that was about all the highlights.
I had none.
All right. Thank you. Moving on, public comments. And I do have something on the public comments. I discussed on our active shooter here a week ago, discussed about some kits. Anyways, I think Luke Irvin compiled a list of what each kit should consist of, and we could collect the expense of these kits through the North American Rescue Plan. Anyways, CAT tourniquet, which I don't know what CAT stands for. What does CAT stand for?
Brand name.
Okay. Brand name. The tourniquets, $30. Elastic wrap bandages, they're 2x2, $4. Oh, excuse me, 2 of them at $2 each per kit, so that'd be $4. Gauze, 4 gauze times 5 would be $20, and then the trauma dressing is $8. A chest seal, that $15 times 2 would be $30. And quick litter, is that litter or leader?
Kitty litter.
It's litter, you mean really?
It's like a stretcher.
Okay, it's a okay.
And CAT stands for Combat Application Tourniquet.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the quick leader is, it ain't litter, it's leader. That's where I got confused. Yeah, sorry about that. $32. Trauma shears at $11, and a duffel bag at $20 through Amazon. And anyways, his guesstimate is $155 per kit, and then we will have to decide how many kits do we need, and Chris, how are we going to decide that, make that decision?
Well,
Will that be with this
on the
future board?
committee. Yep, that committee, it's safety committee.
Okay. So, anyways, that's what I have under public comment. Chris, do you want to add anything to that?
No,
No?
that's where we're gonna start next meeting.
All righty. Is there anybody else that have something? Charlie? Randy? Sure you don't want to sit up here? Anyways, hearing no other public comments, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Jim has made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Further discussion? Meeting's over. Thank you.
We didn't vote.
Yeah.